Hi, it's Denise from Foursquare Micro Farm, and as you can see, I've started on the yellow. Uh, it's really interesting because the other colors, due to the lighting in this room, and I still need to get that adjusted, the other colors didn't look quite as vibrant in the video as they do here, but this yellow really looks even more vibrant than it actually is. As usual for this week, it's just been kind of odd. It's been a really long day for me. I got a late start. We went out to the doctors and some other things, and I've got some other really interesting projects on the grill here. Well, I don't even know where it went. Well, anyway, I was making another one of those dot kit bags. They're supposed to be kind of like project bags for my next craft fair. And they're turning out pretty well. So I had that going. And then I just kind of had to take a break and do a little bonsai pot project that I've really been wanting to make, sort of like a Zen garden, but not really quite a Zen garden. But I had to pot the bonsai tree in this pot. Poor thing's been suffering in a little container for the past like 3 months. So it's finally got its pot, and the little Zen garden is over there with some aloes and a dracaena, and got that accomplished. And also did a little tidying in the room. Here's what we've got here, the yellow, that's probably more truer to the actual color of this yellow. And this is the rest of the fin. This natural fin here, it really needs to be dyed. And so in concurrent with the spin together and with the spin to weave along, I'm also hosting a fiber dyeing study challenge, which is for fall dyeing colors, which will probably go till about mid-November. Roughly, I think I have that scheduled for. And so that's why I have the orange and the yellow and the gray. And this right here is going to be somewhere between a burgundy and a kind of a purplish color. Think like red maple colors in the fall, kind of like a deep red, almost darkish, blackish purple sort of thing. So I'm going to go drop that in the dye pot, and hopefully that'll be dry by Saturday, depending on the weather here. And I may or may not get a chance to spin any of that for spin together. We'll see how it goes. I'll put it on the sweater dryer and maybe get it just a little faster here. Back to our yellow. It's very possible that I'll be able to finish what's inside this bag by tonight. We'll see how that goes. I still have to take the dogs out, and we're already getting late to the evening. So I'll spend pretty much as long as I can while I'm listening to an episode of Simon Says 2019 holiday release by Kay Werner. If you didn't know, I also make cards when I'm not spinning and all kind of other things. So I love to watch several different ladies. I love to watch their card making videos while I'm spinning. And I think it's usually good. And you know what? I'll say this too about spinning videos or sometimes knitting videos. Sometimes it's much better to listen and listen to the video all the way through first. And then afterwards, try to accomplish what's inside the video. Because I know a lot of times while the video is playing, if I'm trying to do what that person is doing at the same time, often a person will give a tutorial, and then maybe right after they do a particular thing, they'll say like a little tiny tidbit of something, and you're thinking, oh, well, now you tell me that. So if you had listened to it all the way through, parts that make more sense later down the line, you'll hear all of that information before you actually start to do the work. That's what I'm trying to say. So I like to listen to their videos while I'm doing something else, and then I'll go step by step back into the video and then do whatever it is that they have suggested get done. Okay, that's enough. I'm going to go ahead and take this downstairs to the dye pot, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so this right here is turkey roaster with the price still on that a friend got for me at the thrift store. in which I am terribly grateful. You've seen my crock pot before, more than likely, the guy over there. And I have a few others, or had a few others. I kind of left them at the other house when I moved. Um, it's a complicated story. At any rate, so here I am with the turkey roaster. I'm going to try really hard not to get in the light of the video. I'm down here in the dungeon and try to minimize all the clutter you can see. And that poor back wall is probably the only corner of the room I have not painted yet. So I got to get that little corner painted. So try to ignore that too. Okay, so at any rate, this thing is on. And the outside of it heats up terrifically fast. The inside is pretty hot, and it won't take long for that water to get hot. So I'm going to go ahead and put this fiber in because this is thin and it will felt. It's not like my Chevy where I can fool around with. This is thin. It's going to felt magnificently quick. So I don't have a lot of time with it. I'm actually going to turn this temperature down because it does not actually need to be that hot. I also got to watch this cord. Keep this cord well away from the body of the actual pot in there. I really had not determined how much I planned to dye, but I'm going to stick it all in there. It's a pretty big roaster. There's lots of ways to do this. And you know what? I don't always do it the same way every time. Sometimes I put the dye in, I put my fiber in. Sometimes I put my fiber in and the dye in. In this case, I'm putting the fiber in first because, well, two reasons. First of all, I want to squish it down. And secondly, I'm not wearing gloves yet, so I don't want the dye in. And I'm putting my hands in the dyed water. And if you've seen any of my other videos, that happens a lot. I've got dye on my hands, and that really should not, it's not a good idea. It's just really not a very good idea to do that. As I get older, I like to think I get wiser, and putting my hand in a pot of dye or touching that kind of stuff casually is something that is best to be avoided. So, okay, so we've got the purple. This is not very scientific at all, actually. And I'm not trying to be scientific, but at this point, I have a fairly good idea of what I'm tapping out, how much I'm tapping out, what it's going to do. And for the sake of, well, this particular video is not about dyeing, so I'm not trying to teach a lesson. But if I was trying to teach a lesson, I would weigh it out for you and let you see. I'm just going to put a big old glug of vinegar. And I use vinegar a lot because it's easy for me to get. And there's a couple other reasons. And I don't see my spoon anywhere. Okay. Go ahead and move that around. Okay, I can't do that for much longer because I don't want that thin to felt. And this pot is going to heat up. But that's good enough for now. I put my lid on. Okay, I'm just going to check again to make sure it's not touching anything that it can't touch. As before, it was free and out in the open, and now it's just a little bit crowded in this space. Okay, hopefully I didn't block your view entirely. Okay, so there we go. It's in the pot. You probably won't see the results of this until Saturday, but it's in there. that gives you a little something to look at later on. Okay, so this is pretty much it for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and finish up that yellow and go out and walk the dogs before it gets dark. I'll check that crock pot, spin a little bit more, and then more spinning tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be done with this yellow. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you're having a great time spinning or a great time viewing. At any rate, I'm glad you watched. Have a great night.